Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Detroit Black and White, our Saturday morning edition. Listen. This is the hottest show on these YouTube streets. If you are joining us, you already know what we want you to do. You already know this, but just in case some not what the time it is, this is what we want you to do. Like, subscribe, share. Like, subscribe, share. You can catch us on all social media platforms. You can definitely participate in the comment section. Also, click that link on your phone, camera on your phone, and join in the conversation in black and white. This morning, we have Nardone, former chief of police for the police department, also man of the show today. We also have Mr. Eric Brown, who has Detroit in Black and White Reality Strikes. His show airs every Monday from 8:30 to 7:30, 8:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Lord Jesus have mercy. So good morning, Eric Brown. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How you all are doing?
Okay, you know what? There's an echo, Eric. Can you fix it? Because it's an echo.
Now it's coming. It's weird from your end because you sound like you're in an echo chamber.
Huh. Hey, y'all that's watching. Who sounds like they're in an echo chamber? Pick Eric or Vanessa. So
Yeah, it came.
What's up,
I think it was coming
Jeffrey?
through. It's just volume. It may be volume there, Eric. I think it's coming from your end, but maybe turn the volume down a little bit. Good morning, everybody.
yeah. So
Is it better now?
Yes.
Yeah, much better.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're going to start off with first off, Adolph popped in last night. Everybody knows he's told everybody he's out of town. He was not going to be on this morning. And Allan is not joining us this morning. I didn't know for sure whether or not he was joining us this morning, but we wished him safe travels. Hopefully, they'll be joining us next week, and we'll be back in the D safely, the cold D. But in the meantime, in between time, we're going to keep this whole thing. We're going to keep this thing going. We had a hot show last night. We're going to start off with outrage. We'll start with Eric. Eric, what is your outrage?
Well, without a doubt, I guess there's more information still coming out, but the situation in Mount Clemens, that potential homeless situation. I mean, I just feel that in the so-called greatest country in the world, we should not be having a homeless crisis. And it's just unconscionable that these type of situations keep popping up. You had the last year's situation with the two kids in the garage over at Greektown Casino. Now you have this high profile situation. There's more information to come out because her family was on WXYZ Channel 7 last night saying that they think it's more than just that. But this crisis definitely has to be resolved. And that's why I'll be focusing my show on this coming Monday because it has to be, things like this has to be talked about consistently and constantly. And the guest that was on last night, she brought up some amazing points about how these CEOs and COOs of these so-called facilities are making goo gobs of money, but you still have people out here suffering. Transfer some of that over to better equip your facilities and make them more accommodating. But one of the things that's also amazing about the homeless shelters, they provide coverage for overnight, but then during the day you back out on the street. So that's not, it's still cold outside right now today. So how's that happen?
Yeah. So I'm going to say two things. I'm going to weigh in on your outrage. One, we've talked about this. People make a lot of money off of people that are poor, people that are vulnerable, and unhoused people is another situation. I personally don't have a problem with a CEO or CFO making whatever they make. I have a problem when the work doesn't appear to be getting done. That is a problem. um, you have to make a living because if you're working every day, you want to eat, you want to enjoy life and that kind of thing. But it should not be at the expense of a charade, as far as I'm concerned. One of the things that you just talked about, Eric, is something that we talked about last night after the show. Okay, we open up these recreation centers, and listen, safety is very important when you're talking about bringing people in. Um, but what time does it open? And what time does it close? When can they come in and when do they leave out? And then if they leave out, they're still subjected to the same conditions. Now, keep in mind, there are some people out there that prefer to be out there because that's their way of life. That's what they've grown accustomed to living, how they live. But I do have a problem when you are not keeping it 100. I thought it was outrageous that someone's making, six figures, and someone that's making $50,000 or $60,000 and going to work every day, and you said that you need to make less. Well, maybe you need to take a pay cut. Okay, maybe you need to take a pay cut. That is, for me, that is outrageous. Jim, what do you have to say?
Well, it's not so much about the money, and I understand your point about the CEOs and the employees. You know, you watch TV when it gets cold because you want to know if you're going to get snow, if you're going to get frozen in, if whatever the case is. And I see a lot of articles about animals, and I'm an animal lover.
Mm-hmm.
And there's people out there, God bless them, they're out there picking up animals, and I give them credit for that. I'm glad they're out there doing that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like that's getting more press. We need the same for the homeless population. We need vans out there, and whether it's to warm them for 3 days or 3 hours. We need to be more aggressive in our attack on the homeless population. And as you mentioned last night, I think, Vanessa, it's a problem all year long. It's not just a problem when it's cold. Cold only draws the attention to it. People are freezing to death, right? We don't know if that young lady froze to death or not. I want to say hi to our friends. Hey, Mike Bunch, Mike Bunch, you're not on the bench, you're first string. Good morning to you. Good morning, Stephanie, my voice of reason out there. Good morning, Kenneth Reed. Sorry you missed the show. Dorian's out there somewhere too. He popped in last night for a second and then he disappeared. Karen Winston. Good morning. Jill Sheridan, our friend from the Southland. Hi, Jill. Good morning to you. Dwayla. Eric. Good morning. Janet from my friend from Brownstown. I think that's just about everybody. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. So I want to just, last night, our viewers brought it. Our guests, our friends brought it. We had a really good guest, T. Brown. She made some very interesting points. She's an advocate for the homeless, and she's out there contributing. The question is, are the CEOs contributing? They have the resources. Everybody, there's resources out there. Why aren't they effective is my question.
Yeah.
And one thing, you brought up a point, Vanessa, about how late are these warming centers open. I'll use Ypsilanti for an example. Right now I'm looking at a post with regards to the district libraries being used for warming centers, but only between the hours of 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. So at 9:01, you put them back in the cold. One of the libraries is only from 1 to 5. So they cold before 1 o'clock, 5:01, you put them back in the cold. So exactly, then Detroit has a lot of the rec centers as well as libraries. And one of the things about, we talk about libraries, how many libraries are there in Detroit to meet the capacity of the citizens?
Right.
And if they're not staying open overnight, and for those that are staying open overnight, because this is an emergency situation, what is the safety like? You don't know who you're letting in. You don't know what type of accommodations are in the place. I know a lot of the rec centers, or at least all rec centers, should have shower facilities. How is that being monitored? So it's a lot of, it's good that the facilities are being open, but at the end of the day, they're only being used as warming centers. And at 8:01 in the morning, you put them back in the cold. I mean, if it's cold at night, it's cold during the day too. Right now, and it's really cold outside right now.
Yeah.
And that's what Mike Bunch.
Go ahead.
Glad you enjoyed the show last night. Thank you for being a part of our show. Billionaires are warm. Mike says. Timothy, where do the homeless people go in the morning? Something we're talking about right now. You have to solve the problem long term. And if you're doing it for political reasons, going out there and bringing up people, you're not improving their lifestyle. They're still at risk. If they're out there right now, they're at risk of dying, as the both of you pointed out. That's not a solution, right? Where is the solution?
Well, the other part of this, and I talked about this last night, and Eric just touched on it, we talk about safety concerns. So you open up these centers. Are you doing vetting of these people? Are you, hey, I'm homeless, but I'm also, somebody who terrorized people, or someone who has not been able to get their medication. Listen, this whole unhoused thing is very circular. If you look at, because I talked about work that I've done in the probate court. Let's talk about the mental health crisis. How many of these people are mentally ill, and how many hospitals are used as beds and warming centers for people that are unhoused? How many jails, how many prisons are warming centers for people that are unhoused that have mental illness? It's a heck of a lot of them.
You're absolutely right.
I was telling Eric last night that some of the things that we don't talk about is I go to a gas station around the corner from my home. I purposely go to this particular gas station. There's two, one to my right, one to my left. There's a gentleman who is unhoused, but that person that owns that gas station allows him to sit in that gas station to stay warm all day. He's polite. He's nice. And I go there, you know why? I give him money to pump my gas. He didn't ask me. I asked him, I said, hey, you want to make a couple of dollars? Yes, ma'am. Pump my gas. What pump are you on? I'm on pump 3. And he's very grateful. But people like this man owns a business. These people own a gas station, right? And I'm sure he's not the only one. You have someone that's there at your gas station. He's keeping warm. And he's basically acting as security for you as well. So how many people are doing that in the community?
Not enough. So, and that was kind of where I was going. The Detroit Police Department, Wayne County Sheriff's Office, these organizations, look, when it's time for a Lions game, if you ever been to a Lions game or been in a neighborhood, there's 50 buses up and down that, Adams Street, dropping people off because they cost $10 or whatever. My point is the money's out there. We need to help people. People are going to freeze to death this week, and it's tragic. And it doesn't have to be that way, and it should never be that way. Like Mike Bunch said, billionaires are, we're warm. I'm warm. You almost feel bad. You talk about your example, Vanessa. Now that's a guy that I want to do business with, That gas station is a gentleman that we should be stopping and pumping so he makes a little bit of money.
Absolutely. That's why I go. That is why I go. And I'm telling you, last Sunday I went and pumped gas. He was there. He knows me, Hey, Vanessa, hey, go ahead and pump my gas. I'm on such and such. But I can appreciate a business owner. See, that's called giving back to the community. That's called looking out. I am my brother's keeper. That's what that's called. And I can appreciate someone like that. And I appreciate it so that I make sure I come to your business as opposed to the business on the other side of me, who get the hell out of here. Stop harassing people. And I understand because it can be frightening, somebody coming up to you in their own house. You don't know what the heck is going on with them. And, can you give me $5? Can you give me $2? Can you give me something to eat? But when you have a business that recognize that this person is hurting, this person needs shelter, I'm going to do what I can for him. That goes a long way.
And we also have to. Go ahead, Jim.
I was going to say we have people on this show. Jan, my friend from downriver, that does that. She goes out and she takes care of people. There's other people on this show. There's people that are very generous with their time and efforts. Thank you, Jan, for what you do. I'm going to say HS75 because he says that he or she say, I butcher their name. So I'm not going to, NAMREHS75. What's up with you this morning? Thank you.
And then, what I wanted to say is, we have to quit. we have
I
to
think
quit playing the blame game because, you know, Miss Sheila, she watches the show regularly. And again, homelessness was a problem when Governor Engler was in office. Homelessness is a problem now. So it's not cause, he's not the result. I mean, the mental health closing down, that's one thing, but not everyone that's homeless is a mental health individual. You know, a good friend of mine who I've had on my show that I grew up with, Keith Bates, he does an initiative over in the, well, it's no longer called a Cass Corridor, but as we once knew it, but he does things over in that area. And, you know, when we did an event the last event we did was in November. But prior to that, we did an event, I think it was about last February or March. And the amount of 18 to 24-year-old Black males that was out there seeking services that were unhoused was just amazing to me. So again, these 18 to 24-year-olds were not around when Governor Engler was the governor. So pointing the fingers at a specific administration and all that, because, you know, are you going to blame?
But who is around us, the current administration, and what the heck are you doing about it? Listen, we're going to put a pin in it. We're going to shoot to commercial. We're going to go to a break, and then we'll come back. Detroit Black and White. Listen, hit that QR code. Come on and join in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in the room.
Hi, I'm Eric Sabri, your Wayne County Treasurer. Are you living in the home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure? Or maybe you know someone who's in the same situation. The probate process may be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. We have several nonprofit partners who have free attorneys who can assist you. Contact our office, 313-224-5990, or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. Don't lose your family property. Some of these properties have been in the family for 4 or 5 generations. Contact us now. We're here to help.
We're back, Detroit in Black and White, our Saturday morning's edition. We have on deck Mr. Eric Brown, Jim Nardone, and of course, we're going to acknowledge Mr. Mike. I'm not going to say Mr. I'm just going to say Mike Bunch because I don't know whether it's a Mr. or sister. Timothy Squire Bay. He says, "Where do the homeless people go in the morning and daytime when it's cold outside?" Angela Beatty, what up, cuz? Dwayla Bright Boy says, "What up, D Love? East Side community is open from 10. She's thinking 10 a.m. to 5:30. Terry McCrimmon says, yes, that's crazy. These warming centers that close at night, that's when it gets the coldest. Mr. 1213 says, Eric, maybe the city have to come up with money from the for the manpower needed for these libraries to remain open overnight. Ms. Sheila said, good subject. Karen Whiston, she says the data needs to be shared on an annual basis that shows the breakdown of how long the people are homeless year by year. The stats will show failure solving the root of the problem. Kenneth Reed says, I'm going to show it. He says, there's nothing worse than seeing people wandering around in sub-zero temperatures, knowing that they could die of hypothermia. Ms. Sheila says she blames Governor Engler. I will also go to, I think it's Herman. Said, what up, though, Detroit Black and White?
All right, we're going with Herman.
Says, there are so many complications concerning solving the homeless problem. I brought in homeless into my home with problems following. I bet.
Here's Jan. Jan doesn't meet anybody that's not a friend. I know Jan. You know, if there's an animal, I'm surprised she doesn't have 400 dogs and cats in her house because that's the kind of human being she is. She takes care of people, but you can't be naive either. That's right. You can't be naive.
Right. Who is this? It says, let's see, who is this? They say, I agree with you, Vanessa, but I'm leery when someone approaches when someone approaches me at the gas pump, especially at night. Absolutely.
We're winging it today, just like last night. I think we need to let people know we're struggling with our behind the scenes expert is not here, so we're trying to do it all together.
Right.
So
and
please
listen,
be patient with us.
Now that you mentioned it, listen, everybody, we need to give a shout out and prayers to Lady T. She's recovering. That she's the backbone of Detroit in black and white. Karen Winston says that should be a part of the entire puzzle. Intake and fix the people. That means education, training, housing, clothes, real assistance. A lot of the homeless are suffering from the flu and COVID. It's complicated. It is house is very complicated. There's no one thing that would fix it, but we do know that some of the people, I'm not going to say everybody because I'm not going to paint a broad brush, but we do know that some of the people or organizations that say that they're addressing the problem, they are basically putting a Band-Aid on the problem at best. And we're tired of it. That this is absolutely ridiculous.
I like Kenneth's comment.
Yeah. Duela says, let's see what the current Mayor Sheffield would do to assist this population other than tell where 3 Mormon.
And you know who else is out there? I just got a text.
Where 3 Mormon centers are. So,
right.
I think it's interesting. Our guest last night talked about somebody sitting on the board of some of these organizations, these very same organizations that are failing the people that are unhoused. It's a very, very sad and complicated situation.
And you know what else is complicated? Getting Tracy over to our posting line here. I know she's out there. Hello, good morning to you. But for some reason, she's not showing up. I guess she's making comments on Facebook, but they're not showing up here. Good morning to you, Tracy.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go over to Facebook while we're talking.
We're the amateurs here, so we're having trouble getting people where they need to be.
I'm not an amateur. Speak for yourself, Jim. As a matter of fact, what is your
I know. I said it last night.
What's your outrage? And listen, when we go back and forth, we're just going back and forth. We respect that all of us have different opinions. Jail, Miss Sheila, Mr. 1213, Kenneth Reed, Timothy Squire Bay, Cynthia Johnson, Duela Boyce. We understand that and we respect that we all have a difference of opinion. But as it relates to something in our house, we good with it, okay?
Okay, Jim's a screw up here. Eric and Allan, Adolph, and Vanessa are certainly not screw ups. We're trying to get our way through, and I'm trying to drag them down with me is really what I'm trying to do.
And so here's an interesting comment from
go ahead.
75, because I'm not sure where the acronym stands for.
Herman spelled backwards.
Yeah, Sherman. Okay. I'm trying to figure out why
Herman.
Don't the billionaires and billion-dollar companies that we have in the city and state revitalize these closed schools and hospitals for the unhoused? Well, isn't that the job of the government? I mean, you can have benevolence from the companies, but this is the so-called greatest country in the world. That should be a responsibility of the government to make way for their citizens. No different than those that serve this country that come back, some maimed, PTSD and all that. They should have health care as well as a good life, quality of life for the rest of their lives.
Don't get me to talking about this because you could spend money on everything else in different countries and everything else. Okay. Different people, even this current thing that's going on with this project that's being done. You spending all this money, taxpayer, our dollars on this, but you're not taking care of the people that live here. I'm a firm believer. You got to take care of your house before you go take care of somebody else's house. But most people will say that, but they really are not acting on it because guess what? We could demand as Americans, listen, your focus is this. Your focus really should be this. This is what we want to happen. But that's not going to happen because, again, too many people are making money off of keeping our eyes off of the ball.
So my outrage is I I think Eric solved the problem. It's not Herman. It's Sherman 75. Thank you. You can come on, Sherman, and hit that that little QR code with Vanessa's camera and tell us. We've been looking at. It's hard to look at this and try and communicate with you. At least for me, it might not be for other people. Good morning, Day. Where have you been, Day? I'm glad to see you're still with us. Terry McCrimmon says his outrage, their outrage is. My outrage is the White House trying to put blackface on a protest that is going on in Minneapolis by arresting the co-founder of Black Lives Matter and saying she orchestrated invasion of the church a week ago. And I'm also outraged by that, Terry.
That Terry or is that Allan?
That's Terry.
Go ahead.
That's Terry.
Go ahead, Jim.
We were the greatest country in the world, Dwayla. But I think there's a huge point there, Terry. And I think that I'm going to take that a little step further. And we talked about it briefly last night. As a former police chief, I try not to tell stories, but, there's two police chiefs up there in Minneapolis. We talked just briefly about it last night. That came out in a press conference attacking the government, right? And in my opinion, those two police chiefs are trying to bring black people into the fight by saying that it was a person of color that worked in their department that was, attacked by ICE. I want to see facts. We don't see facts. We see really vague statements, including a police, there's less little, a sheriff up in Maine that said it's Bush League, but he didn't tell us exactly what happened. There's some video of one of his employees being harassed. Well, let's get a written statement. Let's go to the special agent in charge of ICE in Lewiston, Maine, wherever it is, and find out exactly what the heck happened. Let's solve these problems. The press is not going to solve these problems for you. They're just going to make them bigger and bigger and bigger. We need to find out what the problem is. And by going to the press, Mr. Sheriff in Maine and two police chiefs in Minneapolis, not Minneapolis, Minneapolis area, you're only hurting the cause. You're not solving any problems. You're being a political pawn, and you're trying to drag people into the fight that aren't in the fight. And thank you, Terry. Hey, Lance.
Yes.
Hey.
Hey.
Can you hear me?
The voice is your voice is the vote. Okay.
The vote is our voice. It is. That's right. And and Eric, he say something. The government, it's not separate. The government is us.
Exactly.
We got to keep on preaching that. We are the government. We the people are the government. And until we start putting us all together, because we always separate. Oh, the government is like it's a separate entity. It's not. It's us. We the one. We own this. And sometimes we don't want to take ownership, but we have to if we want to make this country better. And if we want to help the homeless, then we got to take over our government and put people in charge that will help our homeless people and our veterans.
Okay, good luck with that. And I understand full well we are the people, we are the government. But we have to first make sure people are educated on the government. And that's a problem in America right now, the lack of individuals understanding how it works. I mean, I grew up with Schoolhouse Rock, so I understand civics. The problem is when you have people that don't vote, don't participate in the process, it's easy to say we are the people, but it's only convenient to say that when people have an agenda that they want to put forth.
Yeah. Go ahead, Vanessa.
Because I'm going to piggyback on that and say, listen, people need to understand that all these people that stand in front of us that say, hey, vote for me, and those people that we voted for, you do understand that they work for us. They work for us. They are representing us. And until we make demands, we're going to keep getting the same old. We done had all these people running for office on this show. And by the way, I am running for office, but not a political office. But at any rate, we have all these people on the show that talk about the same thing. We get recycled, not even information, gibberish all the time from these same people, and we never hold people accountable. So one of the things that I think is important for us to understand that we are the people, we are the government. I get tired of people saying, well, there's nothing we could do about it. I mean, they there now. Yeah, yes, you can. You can raise hell and make demands. And certainly, standing out in the street may not make a big difference. And what it causes is a whole lot of friction, as far as I'm concerned. I've looked at protests from the 1960s and 1960s, 70s. Inevitably, somebody is hurt, somebody dies. It's always something. But I'm not advocating or not saying that protest is not effective. It is. But when you put yourself out there, understand that you putting yourself out there, you may not come home. You may not come home with both arms. You may not be able to see your family for a long time because you've been charged or something like. Those are the consequences of that. But the other consequence is if you don't make your voice heard by doing what, Les? By
Vote.
voting, you get what you get.
So we're joined by Les Little today. One of our colleagues, Duela, asked to introduce the gentleman. Les, what do you want to tell us about yourself?
Oh, well, Vanessa knows me well. I met Vanessa on the campaign trail some years ago, and I believed in what the message she was selling to people, and I believe she would have backed her message up. See, that's the problem. What we have is that we don't have proper representation in our government. That's all. And my message is to keep my vote, the vote. This shirt I've been wearing for some years, and Vanessa knows, I wear it everywhere I go when I'm in the public eye, because if we don't understand that we are the people and our voice matters in our government, and if we don't play, okay.
I'm going to say, I think that's
some of your background, what you've done in terms of being out there in the trenches.
Well, I have been a activist since high school, and that's Cooley High, class of 71. We walked out of Cooley High School in 68 to have African American studies. And I've been protesting for one issue or another since high school. And I have worked with a lot of different groups, National Action Network, Keep the Vote, No Takeover, Welfare Rights, Call Them Out. And one of the Call Them Out and Keep the Vote, No Takeover was two of my favorite organizations, because we went and fought fascism. Because if you didn't get upset when Governor England came in here and threw out the school board that we voted for, then you probably the problem. Because when you come in and take an elected board out of existence and put in a selected board, then it should be a problem with everybody in this country. Because this is what this country was founded on, democracy, and people getting to choose who their elected representatives are, and not the people that somebody else selected for them. And so I've been an activist all my life, and still I do an internet radio show. And of course, Vanessa's been on my show a few times. And of course, y'all wouldn't have Vanessa. I always encourage her to use her voice, because it's a powerful voice.
Oh,
and I think she has a great voice, and we all love Vanessa. She's the best. But Terry McCrimmon was talking about the politicians work for us, and both I think Les, both you and Vanessa mentioned that the politicians work for us. We may know that. The question is, do they know that?
No, they don't. See, that's what we wouldn't call them out. We called out all political, I guess, servants, political servants. That's what they are. They're servants of the people.
Exactly.
If they did not do what we wanted, we called them out. As a co-director to call them out, we established a reputation in our community of going after the people that wasn't serving the people's interests.
And that's how things get sideways, right? I was the police chief. The police work for the people. It's not the other way around. When it gets the other way around, it becomes a police state. The police report to the people that put them in place. The politicians report to the people that put them in place. The people that are in charge of the homeless problem, that are a part of the government, work for the community. They don't work for themselves. And when we lose track of that, that's what it seems that politics are. Politics have lost their. Go ahead, Vanessa.
Yeah, but I'm going to give an example, and then we're going to shoot. Maybe we could go to another subject. I'll give you an example. we know that our voice is powerful. We know that our vote makes a difference, and we know that these people work for us. There was two things that was going on very recently. One was the whole student loan thing, and people were being called to pay back their student loans. There's been a pause on that. There's also been a pause on the whole thing about paying higher prices for your medical care and all of that. They put a pause on. You know why? Because these politicians realize, listen, I want to keep my job, my good government job, right? So guess what? We're going to put a pause on this until after the election so I can get reelected, and then we're really going to do what we want to do. This is an example of how powerful your voice could be. But if you don't exercise it, which is something that Eric talks about all the time, the low percentage of people that go out and actually exercise their voice, then we lose it. And then you have people saying, well, there's nothing we can do about it. Yes, we can do something about it. We're not doing anything about it. We're going to go and take a break, and then we'll come back. Detroit Black and White. Thanks, Les, for joining us.
All right. Take care now. All right.
If you want to stay on.
Hi, I'm Eric, your Wayne County Treasurer. If you're living in a home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure, the probate process can be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. Contact us at 313-224-5990 or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help.
We're back, Detroit Black and White, our Saturday morning's edition. So I'm going to go to some of the viewers and read some of their comments because we believe that your voice matters on Detroit Black and White. Timothy Squire Bay says, if you're willing to protest, you must be willing to accept the consequences. Amen. Miss Sheila says, Miss Vanessa, what's she say? I forgot what she said. I missed it. But basically, she's glad that I'm saying that, the candidates are responsible to us. And basically, she said she wants to see what Mike Cox is going to do in reference to defraud because he was on our show. We also had Jill Sheridan. She made a very good comment. She was talking about the unhoused. I want to go back. Can you get
I'm looking.
Okay, let me see. Well, Jill, you can always just join us.
Here it is.
Yeah, she said, I realize it's temporary. It's a temporary fix being unhoused, but when it's weather emergency, they need to have shelters stay open. They don't send people out into hurricane just because it's 9 a.m. Dewala says, I have become a much more informed citizen by watching Detroit Black and White. That's what we want to hear. Thank you so much, Steph. What's up, Steph? She said, we need mental health treatment, housing with long-term case management. So I didn't do an outrage. I just want to put a question out here for you guys. It was something that I was talking about. So we know that the upcoming election, oh, you know what? I forgot to do this. Let me say this. Oh, listen, I'm all over the place this morning, but one of my favorite people is calling me. That's my son. Today is his holiday. Today is his birthday. So Miles' birthday is today. So happy birthday, Miles. I can't talk.
Happy birthday, Miles.
Happy birthday, Miles. Happy New Year to you.
So here's the story.
New Year. Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Here's the story, Les. Once you're on Detroit Black and White, you can never leave. So
well, I've been a fan of the show for some time. It's been you guys have a great show, and I'm a broadcasting major. Okay, all right. So I understand good production. Y'all have a great production going on. But I want to
having you.
Yeah.
And you know what? My dad's a graduate of Cooley High. A couple years before you, like about
did he? Okay.
1917, 18, graduated I think in 1950. But
okay. Yeah. That was about when I was born. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I want to say something about Vanessa when she said about the student loan. To me, that's just another company store, okay? Because it made people afraid to lose their jobs because they was afraid to miss that student loan note, okay? That's what that was all about, to keep people in check, put them in fear. Fear is the biggest enemy of all that live in this country.
It's about fear and control. You're exactly right, Les. You're right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So
But the piece of control also is parallel and consistent with the educational process. You keep them dumb. That's how you control them. Organizations do it. The government does it. Politicians do it. They purposely do not have get out the vote campaigns because they don't want people to get out the vote. Statistics have shown the more people vote, the higher the likelihood of a potential candidate that think they are going to win, they will end up losing. So it's all constructed to, and that's why politicians don't complain about the voter turnout. They're fine with it. The only ones that complain about voter turnout are those that vote. I have yet to hear a politician complain. Mary Sheffield didn't complain about 78% of people not coming out to vote back on November the 5th. You know, no one complained about the 19% that came out during the primary in August. They know you keep them dumb, you control them at every single level of government, local, state, and federal. They know this. That's why you keep having the same people over and over in office. You have the same people serving in Senate and Congress for all these decades, and the people, we the people, do not hold them accountable, and that's the problem.
Well, dare not. Don't be daring and bold and say we're going to upset the apple cart, Mike Duggan. We're going to go. I'm going to switch the subject for a minute, but I want to address Terry McCrimmon. He said, yes, in theory, the politicians work for us, but because of gerrymandering, the politicians are picking the people who they want to vote for them. Very interesting. So we're talking about politicians, and this is Detroit Black and White. This is an idea that Adolph Mongo came up with. This had to be 2016, 9:10 a.m. He and I were talking. He said, listen, I'm going to have a show on 9:10 a.m. It's an urban show, and I want you to be my first guest. And we've been locked in ever since. Detroit Black and White. So we talk about a little bit of everything, but everything always leads to your voice, your vote. So one of the things that I want to bring up is this. We've talked about the upcoming governor's race. So we have the top three. We have Jocelyn Benson, who we know is going to be the Democratic nominee. We know it, okay? We have John James, and we have someone that's bold, Mike Duggan. And so, and I'm not picking on him. I'm just asking a question. I'm asking these voters this question. I'm asking all of you guys this question. So he decides that he's going to run as an independent. Fine, good, and dandy. Okay. He talks about all the things that he's done for the city of Detroit to turn it around. And everybody's jumped on this education bandwagon. Everybody's talking about it. As I told Eric, what they're going to do is this. When they address it, you know what they're going to do? They're going to throw money at it. There's nothing really going to be done about education in America. They're going to throw a Band-Aid on it, and a very temporary one. But I thought it was very interesting that there was a land value tax that Mike Duggan wanted to do here in the city of Detroit. And the only way he could do it is if he got the legislation in Lansing to pass this. And it was stalled in Lansing after the lawmakers declined to advance the enabling legislation. So what was it? The plan would have dramatically changed how Detroit property taxes are calculated, lowering taxes on homes and buildings while raising them on vacant land. The plan was to cut taxes for Detroit homeowners by reducing the rate on the buildings, increase taxes on vacant land or unused land to discourage speculation, shift Detroit to a split rate tax system, taxing land more heavily than structures. People were pissed off about that. It did not pass because the Democrats in office was like, yeah, no, we're going to reject it for now. If he becomes the governor, y'all talking about education. What about this land value tax overhaul? What about that? Because you better believe that is going to be revisited if he becomes the governor of the state of Michigan.
We're getting a little too much feedback. Everybody check their volume and make sure. I check mine and make sure it's not too high, but we're getting a little feedback again. So, but go ahead, Eric, Les.
Yeah, I think that the governor, if he's governor, I think that would be one of the priorities, because I've been to a couple of those workshops to hear about that, the land value tax idea, and it hasn't been favorable for people, to want to put that. But then I've been to a few forums where it hasn't been favorable, but then they passed anyway, with very regard to the people. So that's why I say we need to put people in office that we gonna know represents them, instead of the the corporation, because that's what it amounts to. It's us against corporate politics.
Absolutely. And so, to my point is this: we could talk about education all day long. Is it a problem? Absolutely. Has it been a top problem for decades? I submit that it has. Even when I was working in the public school system in 1989, 1990, it was a problem. It's going to continue to be a problem. And as I told Eric, guess what? They're going to throw money at it, but no real solution. But the real issue is Detroit has a lot of land. They don't have as many houses. You got a lot of vacant land. So you talk about this land value tax plan. Who is it gonna benefit? It's gonna benefit the corporations, the big businesses. Who's gonna suffer? These very same homeowners, and we don't have a lot of homeowners. Again, got us focused over here, but you need to be focused right here. Our voice is our vote. Our voice is our vote. And if you don't pay attention, guess what? You're going to be fooled every single time. Eric, what do you have to say about this?
I mean, at the end of the day, one thing I'm giving Mike Duggan credit for is he is running an amazing campaign, because he's running a campaign as a general election candidate, not a primary election candidate. And he knows that. He puts out something every single day. Benson is not doing that. Cox is not doing that. Swanson is not doing that. John James is not doing that. He has started the narrative of, I saved those Negroes in Detroit. That narrative is playing very well with the ecumenical community, with the Black community in Detroit that loves him, because even though only 22% of the people came out and voted, he has an 84% approval rating in Detroit. And again, I said this to you already, Vanessa. Adolph goes back and forth with me. The next governor of Michigan is going to be Mike Duggan or John James. Take your pick. That's going to be the next governor of Michigan. I'm saying that on January 24th, 2026. I've said it before. He has a plan. The plan he has is no different than the plan that got him initially elected to become mayor of Detroit. People were not paying attention. Prior to him becoming mayor of Detroit, I even wrote about it. I said the next mayor of Detroit is going to be a white person. I knew that after Dave Bean. The next mayor of Detroit was going to be a white person. Lo and behold, you had all these corporate
oligarchs
in the city of Detroit, in the state of Southeast Michigan, that were working behind the scenes to find that right white person to become the mayor of Detroit. And lo and behold, it was Mike Duggan. He had a pass. DMC.
You're exactly right.
DMC. He had a pass. DMC. Prosecutor's office. Wayne County Executive Office. They picked the perfect person and pulled the wool over all the citizens of Detroit. I was on the show with John Mason and Horace Sheffield before. John Mason said it best. The people let it happen.
They did. Jim, what do you have to say about the Detroit land value tax plan?
Well, I think it's just another method to try and get money from the people that don't have money, right? Isn't that what we do? We seek out cash and taxes from the people that have the least amount of money and the least amount of resources to pay them. And that's kind of backwards. That's just my position. Back to Mike Duggan. I'm not worried about Mike Duggan. I know what happened with Mike Duggan, and I know who his right-hand man was. And I know who his right-hand man was before he hired him. His name is Ryan Fredericks. That's Jocelyn Benson's husband. He was the link to the oligarchs in Detroit, who are now the Michigan oligarchs that are going to get in line behind Jocelyn Benson before long. And I understand. I'm not a prognosticator. I'm not going to tell you who's going to be the next governor. I feel differently than you do, Eric, but I'm looking at the big picture. Michigan's a big state. You can win Wayne County and win the state of Michigan, but it's not like that unless the people in Wayne County vote. So I'm not afraid of Mike Duggan until it's time to be afraid of Mike Duggan. That's my position.
So my question is, next is, you have more women that vote than men. How many women are going to vote for John James or Mike Duggan as opposed to a Jocelyn Benson? How many women are going to say, hey, I'm going to support this male or this male as opposed to a female? We saw it done with the presidency, because the reality is you had a lot of women who voted for the current administrator. You had a lot of men that voted for the current administrator. You had a lot of black men who voted for the current administrator. You had a lot of black women who voted for the current administrator. So how many people, and I'm talking about the guy who occupies the White House, how many of these people here in the state of Michigan is going to vote for one of the three? And how many of us are going to keep our eyes on the ball? Because I'm gonna tell you, if the former Mayor Duggan is elected as governor, you better believe that plan is going to pass. You better believe it, because
So
as Allan, as Eric said, he's run a campaign. And listen, he got friends on both sides of the aisle. Let's go ahead. Jim.
I'm sorry. Less people are asking how they can access your show. They're asking about you, and they appreciate you being on. So tell us a little bit about how to tune into your show.
Well, it's just easy. Just Google 953 AM Talk the Vote .mix MIXLR.com. And you can it'll come up, and you can hear the show that I did this morning, and it's a lot of shows in my archives, past shows that they can listen to. Also, easy to do, no space, just 953 AM Talk the Vote .mixlr.com, or go to my Facebook page, Les Little, and you can see my call letters.
So if you want to listen to Les, look for Les out there. You can probably just do a search, Google or Yahoo or whatever. Say right. Les Little show in Detroit. And that's right. I would put it up on the screen, but I can't do it, Les. I apologize for that. You can get it on our Facebook page later.
And Jim, to your point, the recent poll that came out is a very reputable poll. Previous polls had Duggan much further behind. The recent poll has Benson at 32, Duggan at 26, John James at 34. That means a lot this early in the game. And Duggan is going to take more Democratic votes away from Benson than he will take Republican votes away from John James. And people can dislike John James all they want, but it's all about the numbers. If you pay attention to the numbers, you pay attention to voter turnout, the winner of this election only needs 34% of the vote come November of this year.
And let me ask you guys something. Because, in my circle, I listen to a lot of stuff, and a lot of people are really tired of Republicans and Democrats. So, and it's a lot of them have been independent. Like, I've been an independent for a long time. I go way back. Ralph Nader back. Okay. That's how independent I am when it comes to my decision when I vote for my candidate. And and I think that's where Mike Duggan, he's a strategist, and that's why he went independent, because he understands the climate that's in our community right now.
Right.
And not just that, Les, not just that, his independent, if he were to win, that's going to set the stage for 2028. Again, Michigan being a purple state, if he wins as an independent, the Democrats and Republicans will be very conscientious of the fact of the no labels party will be very prominent come 2028. So everyone is watching Michigan right now. They're watching Michigan.
But here's what you mentioned.
Dismiss Duggan all they want. I'm telling you, the next governor is going to be Duggan or James.
You mentioned what you mentioned was that Mike Duggan is running a campaign for a general election, and that's his advantage right now because the other candidates are trying to win their primary before they go on to the general, right? Mario, what's her name? McMorrow, whatever her first name is. McMorrow is a threat. Mike Cox is a threat. So Mike Duggan is not running against anybody right now. That gives him an advantage. When the prospective candidates win their primaries, when this election will start, the campaign will start for the election, and it's too early.
I agree with you, Jim. I'm going to go to some of our viewers. Jay says Mike Duggan will probably not win running as an independent. The next governor will be from the Republican Party or Democratic Party. You're fooling yourself if you think otherwise. Dave says Horace Sheffield supporting Benson. No word yet on Mary, but we know her predecessor endorsed her, and it's looking like Duggan will be who she endorses. Doyle Boyce says John James, thumbs down. Ms. Suzuki says complete Mayor Sheffield's rise hire survey to share your concerns if you didn't receive the email. Mr. 1213 says one positive thing about Duggan is that DDOT had improved under his watch. Jay says people think John James is corny. He plays tough brother around black people, but acts like the Pullman Porter around white people. Lord Jesus, have mercy. White people low-key don't like John James. Miss Sheila says I'm independent. She's an independent thinker also. Mr. 1213 says Duggan has a stronger chance to win over James. So those are the comments from.
I agree with that.
And I agree with it as well. Listen, it is 12:57. We've got 3 more minutes, but I want to say this because all of us have different opinions. What we try to do on this show is we try to inform people. We try to give them information. We're not here to tell people to vote for one person or another over another. I don't do that. You take your conscience into that booth and you make your own decision. But make an informed decision. Something that Eric said earlier, and he and I have talked about this, Jim and I have talked about this. They keep you dumb on purpose. They keep you dumb on purpose. You don't have to be dumb. You have to continue to listen to shows like this, Detroit Black and White and Les Little Show, and all these other people that are informed. Miss Sheila, Mr. 1213, Timothy Squire Bay, Day, Jay, G Money Hollywood, Miss Suzuki, Duela Boyce. Who else do we have? Gosh, I can't. Terry McCrimmon, Karen Winston, Kenneth Reed, Marlon, Karen Winston. Good morning, Karen. Angela Beatty, Bridget Huff. We also have. Who else do we have? I'm trying
to get Yeah. Good morning to you. Good to see you out there today.
Right. Miss Terry Brown, who was on the show last night. Also, the people who didn't show up this morning, but show up on other days. We thank you so much for giving us information so that our whole community can benefit. This is why we do these kind of shows. This is why Les does his show, and this is why we do Detroit in Black and White. We want an informed electorate. We want a passionate electorate. We want an electorate that's actually going to do something. Okay, go ahead, Jim.
I was just going to say your voice matters on Detroit in Black and White. Your voice matters on Les's show. Your voice matters out there with we may not have a huge family, but we have a family, and your voice matters here, and we appreciate it. And keep bringing it, right? It's just so thankful that we had Les today, right? So thankful they had T. Brown yesterday. She was excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Les.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the time. I appreciate your show, man. I listened. Y'all might not see my comments because this Saturday is my running around day, but I'll be listening to you while I'm running around. Get my stuff done.
So I want to give a shout out to one of our viewers. he popped in last week. I don't know what the issue is today, but they sent the text. Mr. Mike Evans, he watches our show and listens to our show every Wednesday,
Came on.
every
Mike
Friday,
Evans came
every
on.
Saturday. We want you to come back on the show. He sent the
Yeah.
text. I don't know what he's talking about, what he's referencing, but he said, I think he's referencing the tax issue that I was talking about. He said a lot of the buildings that are still standing have asbestos, and it's too expensive to, get rid of the buildings, is what he's saying. I believe that's what he's saying. But listen, you don't have to text me. Use this QR code to come on the show, like
And
Lester,
he's done
like
it.
Bridget Huff did, like T did, like DeWayla did.
Like
You
Mike
guys-
Evans did. And
That's
Les.
right. Exactly. So it is 11:01.
Well, let me get a final word right quick, Vanessa.
Go ahead, Eric.
People need to pay attention. The latest Gallup poll, which is one of the most respectable polling places in the world, recently stated that 45% of Americans are independent now, number one. So for people to be so dismissive of independence, such as myself, such as Les, you need to pay attention. There's a reason why people are tired of both the R's and the D's. And then for Terry McCrinnon to say that Fox News has dumbed down a lot of Americans, no. All of the media has dumbed down a lot of America. MSN, CNN, News Nation, Fox, all of them. So it's not just Fox News. And interestingly enough, Fox News has the most viewers of all. So,
all right. Well, we're gonna go. We'll see you guys again next Wednesday. But join Eric Brown on Monday evening, 8:30 to 9:30 p.m. Reality Strikes. He's going to have some guests, and he's going to talk about unhoused in America. All right. See you guys. Have a good
Come back, Les. Come back and see us.
Oh, will do.
I guess that's me. I have to move on the show here.
yeah, you do.
All right.